Morning Joe is going to demonstrate exactly how you shouldn't cover politics.
Every time she sees Hillary Clinton, a woman, a woman who she wants to see elected president of the United States, in these early sort of stiff Dunder Mifflin-like sets, she gets really upset.
Well, because it's just bad staging and bad.
She thinks he's too stiff
advice.
and too calculated.
Yeah.
Are other Democrats thinking that way that you talk to?
I mean, all those observations sound right to me, and I think that Hillary Clinton has to get back in the game. It's taken a while. I mean, it's a very slow start, but no mistakes yet that matter 2 weeks from now. No harm's been done by her. You call it stiff or, growing pains getting into this thing. But, learning the vocabulary that you guys speak every day and I speak every night takes a while to get into. We're in a conversation like we were in the beginning of the show. We're talking. So you're joining the conversation. She's got to get into it. She's not an instantaneous pal like her husband.
She's not like Bill.
No, Bill's like always a pal. I mean, he's always ready to walk into a Chipotle and introduce himself to everybody in the room.
It's funny.
But not everybody does that.
There are people close to Jeb Bush who are saying now Jeb's problem, because he seems kind of like the stiff one while all these younger guys are flying around him, is Jeb's been out of the game for a very long time. He's been making money. He's been doing all of these other things. And now he's back, and it's almost like he's in the same position as Hillary is on the other side.
Yeah, I think we did a piece 8 years ago, one of the last campaigns, 2004, where John Kerry walks into a diner and grabs some poor woman who's got an hour off from work and she's reading a novel, just trying to get away from the hell of her job. Yeah. And he comes in and gives her a 5-point plan for reconstruction of America, leading into it. Meanwhile, W walks into it. He sees a young couple with 3 kids, 1 boy, 2 girls. He says, "What's it like being the only dude with the girls, the sisters, all those sisters around you?" Instantaneous connection. Right. Some people can do it. Yeah. You can probably do it. I know you do it.
But Hillary Clinton can do it. And you've met
her. Well, she can do it when she's with somebody she trusts. I think I've seen the Hillary that everybody likes who knows her, which is, don't take this the wrong way, girlish, fun, upbeat, exuberant, and totally unafraid of commentary. And then there's the one we see in public who's always aware her worst enemies are watching her, ready to get a jump on her.
Chris, we've had her on the show, and you had her in stitches, Joe, and we had a great time. And then something is...
How many stitches?
Hey, listen, something has happened where...
This is what we call the horse race aspect of politics. If you want to know one of the main reasons why CNN and MSNBC and many of the networks, and the nightly news, by the way, because they do this a lot too. If you want to know why they're struggling, here's one of the main reasons. Because this is how they look at politics, through this childish, toddler-like spectrum of who's got the better attitude, Are they doing well on the campaign trail? Did they talk to enough kids today? Did they hold enough, as many babies today as they were supposed to? Did they smile correctly? Did they use the right tone? I think she's been out of the game of being jovial for a while now and being on the trail, so she needs to get back in it. She seems stiff sometimes when she talks. I mean, how disrespectful to the American people can you be? Because what you're doing is you're treating the American people as if they should view politics like it's a game, like it's a sport, which side is winning, which team has the edge based on arbitrary things like personality. I mean, this is the problem. Remember, it's the old thing that everybody used to say about Bush. Okay, he's a guy you want to have a beer with, but that doesn't mean he should be president. Well, now they're making the same fucking mistake today. They're only talking about politics through that realm, through this personal realm. Whereas, look, I give the American people more credit than that. If they're presented with the option of hearing people talk about serious issues and things that actually affect their life, I think they'll listen, and I think they'll actually be more interested in politics in that way. I know, take my dad, for example. He's no longer with us, but when he was around, he had this mentality of like, I don't care about politics at all because I've known for the longest time that they're all liars. So, in a way, a lot of people feel more pure if they distance themselves from this grotesque system where people are only talking about, look at the hairstyle on that candidate. Should we vote for that person because of that? No, here's what you talk about if you're a serious person, especially in the media when your job is to fact-check these assholes. You shouldn't be talking about how they look, do they have energy, are they jovial enough? You should say, here's this person's proposal on education. Hey, that's a decent proposal, but why is it that the United States, as far as modern nations go, we're way behind other modern nations on the issue of education? Many European nations, for example, have universal higher education. Why shouldn't we have that here, and why is no candidate bringing that up? Why are you saying, oh, look at your position on foreign policy? Well, that seems to fly in the face of what the American people want, according to this Gallup poll, and let's discuss that. None of that, none of that, none of that. Here's some issues you might want to talk about if you're discussing Hillary Clinton. I don't know, maybe the fact that she's raised over $320 million in her political career from various sources, but mostly people on Wall Street and corporations and the rich. Maybe the fact that her foundation has taken money from people overseas and governments overseas, including, I don't know, maybe Saudi-rich oil men who believe in Sharia. I don't know, maybe you want to talk about the fact that from Citigroup alone, she raised over $780,000, or from Goldman Sachs, she raised over $710,000, and that's officially for her campaign. That doesn't even include the $400,000 she raised from them recently, where she just went and gave a few speeches to them about how the bankers are so victimized in the country. She raised over $620,000 from JP Morgan Chase. Maybe this stuff is relevant. Maybe the American people want to know this because they might say, hey, I'm not sure she's going to represent us because look who she's getting all that money from. Uncle Bob didn't give her $620,000, so why do I think she's going to help out Uncle Bob with his medical bills? Or how about the fact that she said she wants to raise over $2 billion in this next election? You don't think that's a conversation that should be had? Maybe this isn't the best way to run a so-called democracy. Who can raise billions of dollars to get in office and then have to pay back all those favors to the corporations that gave them the money in the first place? Maybe that's a conversation you should have. Or how about the fact that Hillary Clinton was for the Iraq War, which is the biggest foreign policy screw-up of our lifetimes? Maybe the fact that she was for intervention in Syria when that would have been absolutely disastrous. Maybe the fact that she's more hawkish than Obama is on Iran, which is a horrible thing that the American people don't want, and that puts her more in league with the Republicans. Maybe this is something you could talk about. Or, look, if you want to cover her in a positive light, you say, okay, she's been paying lip service to more progressive ideals lately. Then you could say, is that more because she's in the primary now, and then when she gets to the general, she'll be more conservative again? All these things are more substantive conversations to have. Conversations about real issues, about real-world things. But what do you do instead? You do the typical, armchair pontificating of a bunch of idiots who don't read any actual articles and don't get any actual facts. You just talk about airy nonsense. Ooh, Hillary needs to become more jovial like Bill, and Jeb Bush, he's been away doing different things, but once he gets back into the flow of it, maybe he'll talk smoother than Hillary. Stop talking to the American people like they're 7-year-olds. But then again, maybe I shouldn't be pleading to these people because maybe they actually are intellectually like 7-year-olds.